I was born in Texarkana. They put the hospital on the Texas side, so technically from Texas. But I felt like I was in the world of Arkansas for about 6 or 7 years of my life. My dad's from Nashville, Arkansas, so it was Arkansas full throttle for about 7, 8 years or so, and then after we moved to Texas, it was the same. So I'm a diehard Arkansas fan, living in Texas.
Nice. It's funny because I've always seen that term, and I no idea what it means.
What's that?
Just Texarkana. I
Okay.
don't even know if I said it right.
It's just Texarkana. Yeah, it's like it's right in the middle of both Arkansas and Texas. Yeah, it's cool.
So,
it's a growing place. It's big. It's getting bigger.
So you hold like a dual citizenship between
Yeah, there we go.
That's cool. So you said there's a Nashville in Arkansas? You say Nashville?
Nashville, Arkansas. Mm-hmm.
That can get kind of
little bitty town.
Yeah, that can get a little confusing.
Yeah, I know. But I have to make sure I say Arkansas.
Yeah, I'd never heard that.
Be a way cooler conversation if I didn't. But
do you have you ever has your music ever ventured off to a journey into Nashville, trying to do singer-songwriter stuff up there, or primarily?
In the last couple of years, I've got to go to Americana Fest. So I've gotten to share my music up there the last couple of years, and it's been an incredible experience. I plan to go back this year. I hope to, but that's because I knew some people that helped me get on some stages there, and have some showcases and things like that. And here, Fort Worth, visit Grand Prairie. I mean, all these people have been in my corner, and they've allowed me to go to Americana Fest in last 2 years, and it's been really cool.
Yeah, and do you do do you travel a full band or?
I did a duo the first year, and then the second year I just went solo by myself. Haven't brought the band.
Yeah, but you do have a full band.
I do have a band, yes, and it's probably I don't know, 50-40% of the time we'll get together. But they're here, they're local, so we can get things going pretty quick and practice and be ready to roll. And we play some good shows, big shows. Got some more big shows coming up this year, so it's fun, man.
Yeah, is that what you hopefully plan on doing the rest of your life? Just music?
Yeah. I hope to be a musician for the rest of my life and continue this dream that I've achieved at my age now, but it feels right to be in where I am in my life, with a wife, 2 daughters, and now I'm a full-time musician. I mean, it seems to make sense for me, and I wouldn't change it. But yeah, dude, this is what I'd love to do the rest of my life.
Yeah, that's definitely great profession.
I'm a former school teacher. So
what did you teach?
I taught middle school science. Yeah, so I don't plan on going back to that at all. I coached football too, actually. So I was doing a lot with the kids, and it was cool. It was good. It was really good when I was younger. When I was before I had my own kids, but when I had my own kids, and it got a little more strenuous coaching. I kind of backed off of coaching and just did some teaching there towards the end, but. Yeah, man, and I quit in 2016 and then basically flopped around like a fish until I got my feet under me enough to get to where we could do this full time. And my wife was like, let's go for it. Let's do it. You do your thing, go book shows, and just let's see what happens. And that was like just the flag I needed, man, to fire this thing off. And of all the years that I've been preparing for it have paid off because I've been doing music for a long time. I just haven't been doing it full time. And so all those relationships that I built now are kind of in the forefront and helping me do what I do, because
Yeah.
I don't do this without a community of people that are like supporting it. You know what I mean? And the DFW area supports local music like crazy.
Yeah, that dude, that's the one thing I noticed. Even with through the artists themselves, I've just the way how the spider web just works and just how everybody, I just love how everybody knows it. Because up here you get the musicians, they'll talk. I just saw a meme where like they're like good set, and but they're stabbing each other in the back, you know.
Oh no!
But yeah, everybody I've met in Texas, it's just this. There's like it's a great collective of people that are just all just trying to have fun and be able to continue to do it full time. I love
Yeah.
seeing. It's funny. One of my Facebook friends, he flew all the way from Italy and went to Texas and Red Rocks, and
Mm.
he took like 200 pictures. And a lot of the venues I've heard, but I never really seen the outside, and it was really cool to see like because like a lot of the areas down there, they're definitely on the older side, and to see that there's even like a history and a heritage to the music scene, and that it
Yeah.
hasn't been taken away from greed and condos and stuff like that.
Not yet. I mean, we've had some venues closed recently. You know, that had a lot of history, and it was really sad to see. But I mean, I guess it's bound to happen. You know, I mean, hopefully new places come out of that. You know, but who knows? You know, I mean, but yeah, some of these historic spots, man. You know, they've just been so iconic in the development of music here, and you know, really, without that, like there wouldn't be Fort Worth wouldn't be what it is without those places, you know, because it does revolve around music. The city, like here, it really does. And you know, there's certain guys like Leon Bridges and Abraham Alexander and things like that, and like uh, Vincent Neil Young Emerson. I mean, all those guys, like they're bigger and they got out there past Fort Worth, but this is Fort Worth really kind of gave them like a hoist, you know, and yeah, dude. I mean, it revolves around music. It's big culture here, you know, which makes it all about like original music, you know, and not just like, hey, I'm just going to be a cover band guy and just entertain people the whole time that way. Like Nashville, like when you go down, you know, Music Row or the Broadway. I mean, I just want, I would love to see Fort Worth to be an original music town. You know what I mean? And uh, it's funny you say collective because in August of last year, I started a group called Singer-Songwriter Coffee and Collective. And it's really me meeting people at bars and venues while I'm playing shows. And then I'm like, I want to just hang out and talk with you and see what's up and where you at and like connect dots, you know. But I can't do that in a venue. I can't do that in a bar. So I just thought, I'm just going to invite everybody to meet up on a Friday morning and just hang out and exchange contacts and just, you know, if we can help each other, we, you know, just tips we have, you know, experiences, stuff like that, and just, but really also support each other and just eliminate the competition factor altogether, because that's not going to help anything. You know, we're
Yeah.
not competing at all. I'm not you, you're not me. 100%, you're an original artist that I can't be. You know, and so the competition thing is a fallacy. You know what I mean? Because original artist is exactly that, you know, and you just have to own it. You just have to find it, you know, and keep working at it. But yeah, it's been really great, man. We're still doing it every Friday morning. We meet and we hang out, and it's just different people come when they can, when they can't, you know. And man, it's just been the coolest thing you know, that I've been able to be a part of, and it's really a piggyback off of here Fort Worth, which is the support group that we have here in Fort Worth that provides resources and opportunities for artists of all kinds in Fort Worth. But this is more like a little branch off of that for songwriters only, which is my world. And so it's been really great to see it grow and everyone kind of come together and be like, hey, this is cool. I actually know other songwriters now, you know, like, yeah, it seems natural, you know, for as many great songwriters we have here in Fort Worth, you know, for us to just kind of get to know each other, you know, because if we get to a point where songwriting becomes very common here in Fort Worth, then people are the attention is gonna be drawn to Fort Worth in that way, like it is in Nashville, with industry following that. So, I mean, it's a long road. I understand, but it starts with good songs. It starts with good songwriters, and that's kind of what we're looking at. Trying to develop a community for it right here.
Yeah, so it's pretty much just a group, or is it like a?
Yeah, we just hang out. We don't talk. We drink coffee, and we just talk about life, songwriting, booking, recording, whatever it is, man. I mean, I guess it's more like a support group, but really, that's what we need.
Yeah, should register it as a nonprofit and write off everything.
Oh, okay. Hey, I haven't thought about that. Well, I mean, I do want to start, doing some events and things like that, and some songwriting retreats. Because I mean, I do want to get guitars in hands and songwriting, groups going. But at this point, it's just kind of ground roots, and we're just kind of meeting each other, hanging out, getting to know each other, building trust amongst the group, and finding out everyone's different styles and what they're good at and what their, where their strengths lie and things like that. But also just, encouraging original music no matter what, like play original music when you play out, record your stuff, get with somebody and, get some things going. And, but yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a business mind. So to hear those kind of things, it's good.
Yeah. And I'm probably only saying that because people tell me to do that all the time. They're like, dude, do the Country versus Mellow LLC, and you write off everything. And I'm like, man, that would involve like more work.
Yeah. I do good just to get to the spot at 10 o'clock on Friday mornings on time before. Well, I don't get there first most of the time, but yeah, man. This is the first step for us, man, for what it is, and it's been good.
Yeah, dude, that's a really cool resource, especially if you're just starting out, or even if you're doing it and you're frustrated. It's always nice to have someone like,
Yeah.
man, well, you try doing this, because a lot of people are super talented, but they are not going down the right road, and it's not their fault. It's just kind of like there's no like handbook of, oh, so you want to be a musician? This people are like, well, how do you get a gig? I'm like, you been somewhere where there's music? You go, yeah, well, go talk to the booking manager.
Yeah.
Just, hey, I'm in the band. You guys any good? The best band you've never heard yet.
Yeah. I mean, and it's you get to a place where you're like, well, dude, these guys are really cool. We share contacts. Hey, whatever I'm playing here. Oh, what's the contact? Yeah, here it is. There's the person. I mean, go put your best foot forward and get in there, man. We can't play all the gigs. I can't play all the gigs. I mean, you know what I mean? It's just
that's
like,
true.
I mean, I feel like the more we give, the more we get. I know that's kind of a cliche saying, but I feel like this day and age, man, it's very true, even more true than ever. Just to be able to think like, man, how can I help other people, man? I mean, everything's gonna work itself out, but like, can I help other people, like, and I feel like that's where my career is kind of turned into a direction like that with this group. And man, it's God. God has really opened some doors, and He's blessed the opportunity that I've had with these guys. And I mean, it's a cool, unpredictable thing that I didn't really expect. Being full time, I just was like, it just kind of came out of nowhere. And it's been really great.
Yeah, and I guess that being a teacher to middle schoolers help you wrangle up musicians, because they can get a little rowdy themselves.
I mean, I tell them, they keep on, say, oh, I'll be there, and they don't show up or whatever. I'm like, it's cool, man. We're there every Friday, so if you happen to miss a week, we'll be there the next week or something. So you get a pass. In other words, it's not like you're tardy. So.
You're up there writing their name on the board.
Yeah, artists wouldn't do well in that situation. So yeah, it's good. And I'm like 10 o'clock on Friday. If you don't have a job, it should be doable based on the Thursday night that you had. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, it's cool, man. It's been fun. Met so many great artists and people, and just meet them kind of where they are, man. Because when you just run through them, at a gig, whatever, and you're like, oh, what's up, man? Yeah, I enjoyed that. It was good. That didn't go very far. So this allows us to kind of get to know each other a little bit more, and kind of get a little deeper into where we're at. Hey, sorry, my dog. He thinks he's gonna catch a squirrel.
I got one of them. I can't believe this is the first time he's been allowed in the room. So far he's being good. He's actually behind me.
Yeah, well, mine's losing faith real quick. So
dogs.
I know. I saw a meme today with a guy fixing food with two dogs like right beside him, called like cooking with beagles. And it was the funniest thing, man, because these beagles, they could care less. They were like, any chance he turned his head, they were just up at the table just eating food, man. It was funny. But what do you do with them, man? Man, you love them, you hate them.
Yeah. It's funny. Like, my buddy was like, would you ever get another dog when your dog passes? And I was like, no. I was like, I love them, but no. Because I don't have any kids, and people are like, hey, can you come here? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, ooh, what am I going to do with my dog? Like,
yeah.
I recently, like, do you take, I love how people have like road dogs now. I've been seeing more and more bands.
Yeah. Well, you had Corey Michael on your show,
yeah,
and he's got Ty, and so we go to Magnolia Motor Lounge, like we were talking about earlier, on Tuesday night for a songwriter showcase every Tuesday night here in Fort Worth, and he lives, and he out of his camper, and he had this puppy. It was the cutest puppy, and I swear it wasn't but like 2 feet long when he first brought it in he'd bring it in after we were done, and everybody fell in love with that dog. Man, that thing is like 3 times the size now, and he's training it and everything. It's really cool to see. But yeah, dude, he's 100% that dude.
Yeah.
And that dog means a lot to him, man. Yeah. It's good.
Especially, when you're doing the solo, even though they can't talk back, it's still
for
nice.
Sure. Oh yeah. No, they're a gift, man. Yeah, they're a gift for sure.
Yeah, it just sucks when you open the door open a little bit too much, and they're like, "Wee!" They run away.
Oh, my dog did that so much, dude. And then he got scared. I think he got into the street so much because when we take him walking, he starts just crying when he gets to the street, like up where the cars are passing by. I mean, I think he had his fill, so he don't run away anymore. But he about had one too many instances with those cars, man, and it was a frantic thing because he would just run and disappear. We couldn't find him. So, yeah, he stopped doing that. Now he just barks at squirrels out the window. So,
yeah,
what can you do?
Yeah, typical dog, man. And especially like you have kids, you can imagine something happened to the dog.
Oh, dude, I totally have. He's gotten out a few times, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure he's gone. I'm never going to find him again, and I did it, and I'm going to have to tell my girls, and they're going to be so sad. But thank God I found him, and he was like wore out in somebody's yard. He was like, okay, I'm done. I'm sorry. But yeah, not anymore.
That's good. It is amazing how like they like grow up.
Yeah, he's like 3.5 now. He's getting a little older.
Do they have any songs written about him?
I think we like wrote Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer over about him one year, but it was just more like it was like Archie the Wet-Nosed Doggy or something. I don't know. It was just we were being silly. I haven't written anything about my dog yet, but I guess I don't love him that much. But he definitely wants his kisses when I leave, though. He gets in the way of me trying to say goodbye to the girls, and he's like, "What about me? What about me?" And so he's definitely one of the pack.
Yeah. So I was on the way here when I was driving. I was listening to a couple of your tunes, and like some of your songs, they're like, when I say like, they're like story songs. Like
Yeah,
very like, you know, you take like a normal story song, but you're like, definitely listened to it and was like, man, it felt like you like let me into your house. You know what I
right
mean? I was
on.
like, this is a pretty personal song.
That's cool.
Is that what like you go for, or
Um, I mean,
it just
I feel like being vulnerable in your songs is important. You know, I mean, honestly, I don't feel like I'm as vulnerable as I could be. So it's cool to hear you say that. I just and some and sometimes I guess I do that, and sometimes I don't. I mean, man, it depends. You know, songs are different. The more I can, you know, be more real I can be, the better. You know, I think. And sometimes I hit the mark, sometimes I don't.
yeah, you had one lyric. Watch, I'm gonna ruin it. You definitely have to correct me. It's like
Again, what is this?
it's was it husband and wife, 1 + 1 = 1? Is that
Oh yeah, dude. Oh
that's
my
a really
god.
cool lyric. I was like, dude, that is deep.
Yeah, 1 + 1 = 1, man. Yeah. That's a gosh. I wrote that song so many years ago. It's called "This Man and This Woman," and I wrote it for my stepsister's wedding.
Oh wow.
Um,
And like, did they know about it?
yeah, she knew about it. Yeah,
Man,
I think I played it in her wedding or something. I've done that twice. I did that for my brother, and I did that for my stepsister. I've written 2 wedding songs specifically for weddings, and I played them both in the wedding. And so
it's a
yeah,
lot.
I didn't write one for myself for my own wedding, but I did play. I did play in the reception to my wife though. I did sing something. She would have to remind me what it was, but um, yeah, no, I write songs about my wife all the time. But those were specific wedding songs that
It's a
I
lot of
really.
responsibility.
Yeah, it's cool. It's an honor, man. It's definitely an honor. I play a lot of weddings, so it's been really cool to see that progress as well.
Uh, I played one wedding, and I was like, I can't do it because like they were real. Like we started playing on like their first song, and they were like, the one guy told me, he's like, really get at the solo. I'm like, don't, no, you can't tell me that. I was like, I'll never stop soloing. I'm like, no, and it was Cover Me Up, and
Oh, okay.
I was like, this is too much pressure. I'm like, if I make like a wrong note, because the song's so like soft.
Yeah, the solo's not much on that one.
Yeah, that's what I said. And he goes, I know. So get at it. I'm like, no. I said,
Like, there's not really even a
you're,
solo there. Like,
you're
it's
gonna
just.
you're gonna have a cool face and you're gonna spin around. Your wife's gonna be looking at me like scowling me like I'm like, but dude, playing a wedding.
Yeah.
I
Was that like a
it,
first dance? Was that like a first dance song?
that was I'm pretty sure that's when we first started playing, and
Yeah.
it was like the first they're gonna remember that forever. And I was just like, I don't I don't want to be a part of this.
Well, one thing I've learned about first dance is like most of the time they don't want like the whole song, so you can really kind of like shorten it and be okay with it because they're like, I don't want to dance very long, so just And I'm like, oh, I got you. So verse and a chorus or something, just usually has been good for me. But yeah, it's the moment for sure.
Yeah. And what you have 2 daughters, so then you got to pay and play at 2 weddings.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, 11 and 6, man. I have 2 daughters. Yeah,
I,
they're awesome.
I
Yeah,
like the shirt. Do you do any? I
thank
love
you.
seeing the like the hashtag girl dad, and like at the last girl I dated, she had a daughter, and like people are like, well, what are you doing? I'm like, whatever she wants. Well, you just play Barbies. Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Play Barbies. You know.
I mean, played plenty of Barbies. My daughter will lock me in her room so I can't get out. I mean, she's like my 6-year-old, not my 11-year-old. My 6-year-old will be like, "Daddy, you're not leaving. You sit down now and just sit down, and I'll take care of it. I'll take care of the rest. You just sit down." because she's got this amazing imagination, and we just get in there, and she's, I mean, it just kind of goes, and we have fun, and yeah. But and then 11-year-old, you know, she's 11, so she's kind of more pulled back a little bit, you know, and into some Taylor Swift and some Benson Boone, and you know, likes her time. But yeah, we still hang out. We play Battleship and stuff like that, and you know, quality time is key, man. You know,
Yeah.
100%. Like, you know, be present, put your phone down. And I preach this to myself all the time because I need it. I need it. I don't have it nailed down. I mean, some days are better than others, but it's critical, man, for these kids, man.
Yeah. Do they go to shows with you at all, or?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, I mean, shows are late, man. Right? I mean, it's just
Yeah.
hard to get to shows when you have two children that are younger. So, but yeah, they have, man, plenty of shows. Yeah, I'll try not to embarrass them, but sometimes I can't help it. I mean, they're my inspiration, man. You know, I mean,
Yeah. They
my
do
wife,
they
and my kids, man.
do they like your music, or they ever said anything like off the wall, like, "Hey, I
I
just
mean,
love."
they don't really talk about my music or really listen to it, so I don't know if they like it, but they don't hate it about that. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
we recently had a guy come to our house and we did a music video for a song that is specifically about my kids and about being a parent, and it's called "Waking Up to You." I wrote it with Luke Wade, and it was on my last album that I dropped in September. But this guy came to our house at like 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, and the girls were ready. They looked great. They were like, we were all ready to go, and I was really impressed because we'd never done anything like that before. And I was like, this is happening, and they were like, they were in, man. They were all systems go, and we did it, and it's done, and I'm gonna share it and drop it, you know, in a week or two, something like that. So I think I dropped a little sneak peek on Instagram today, but yeah. I mean, I involve them. I try to involve them when I can. I mean, but they don't mind being kind of like low. They're kind of like behind the scenes. They don't want like all the attention and stuff. So it works out pretty well.
Yeah. That's cool. It, it's it has to be a balancing act. It's especially like
Definitely.
if you put something out and it takes a hold and you got to start hitting the road. That's when it's just
Yeah, yeah. I sleep in my own bed at night. Well, somewhere near my own bed. And I haven't had that experience yet, and don't know if I will. But you know, I mean, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But yeah, it's a different dynamic for sure.
yeah. It's that is not like a. I always used to tell people like if I can go home, that affects the show price. It's nothing beats
Mm-hmm.
being able to just go home in your own bed.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
Except because like when you're on the road, you're not staying at fancy places. You know, like
yeah,
you don't know if your
yeah.
trailer's going to be there when you wake up.
No, I know, man. Not these days. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh, especially Texas. They're stealing like vans and everything.
I know,
I
man.
it seems like it kind of backed off a little bit, but like I was talking to Eli Howard, who had everything stolen, and he's like he actually did the podcast in the parking lot of where
No way.
his van was stolen, or his trailer. I'm like, dude, well, hopefully they don't steal you.
Yeah, I guess that's the danger of having a trailer. I mean, I don't know how you protect a trailer from being like jacked. You know, like
Yeah,
I don't really know how that works. I'm sure there's got to be something, but man, alive,
yeah, it's
that would be just a nightmare if they took the whole trailer of stuff. I mean, I can't imagine.
yeah, especially like your instruments, especially being a guitar player. Like these guitar, I've
Oh,
had these guitars forever.
yeah, yeah,
You,
yeah. I mean, that
if I,
happened to a guy here in Fort Worth, and but he told so many people, and they shared it, and people came together for community, and they ended up finding a guitar, and he got it back. So,
nice,
when that does happen, it is important for people to like start sharing and making sure that this dude knows he's in trouble, because they're going to come after him in all different directions, man.
do you have a favorite guitar to write on?
Uh, Yeah, I have a D28, Martin D28
That's
that
good,
I
Martin.
got during COVID that I like a lot. I borrowed one to record an album in 2020, and I fell in love with it. It was a D28, and it was, a guy just let me take it for a week and just borrow it. I was like, "Are you sure?" He's like, "Yeah, dude, go for it." I was like, "You're the nicest man I know," and so I told my wife, I said, that's probably going to be my next guitar. And so I sold one during COVID. I sold a Martin GC series during COVID and ended up finding this thing on Facebook Marketplace. Just boom, there it was. Like, oh. And decent price. The guy lived at like 20 miles away. I met him in a parking lot of a grocery store and gave him a whole bunch of cash. And he ended up being he was a cool dude, man. He was a songwriter himself. He was like kind of an aspiring guy. Hopefully, he's still out there doing the thing. But yeah, man, D28. I hope to have it forever. I love
Yeah.
it.
So you're a Martin guy.
I'm a Martin guy. I do have a Taylor, but it needs a fret. It needs a fret dress. It needs some work. So I
Oh
don't
wow,
play it much. But I've had it since '95.
it's got some
It's an
miles on it.
antique, I'd say. I don't know. I mean, it sounds old, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's funny how like I don't think I've seen anybody play a Martin down. A lot of the country artists I see are all J45 Gibson.
Yeah, a lot of J45ers. Yeah,
Yeah, up
which
here it's
I yeah, which I've never had the privilege to play those honestly for any long period of time. But I'm sure they're amazing.
yeah. I've never played one, never seen one like in the wild. But like it seems like up here you're a Taylor guy or a Martin guy.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
it was funny is man it was I'm probably gonna get his name wrong. I always screw up names on here. Myron Elkins. He opened up for Shane Smith and the Saints, and I was talking to him, and I was like, "Hey, this is the first time you ever been to the Northeast?" He goes, "Yeah," and he says, "I'm so excited to be in Pennsylvania," and I'm like, "Why?" Like I think he's from Alabama. I'm like, what's the big allure of Pennsylvania?" And he goes, "It's where they make Martin guitars, man." And I was like,
Oh, I didn't even know that.
"Yeah, yeah." I was like, "Yeah." I said, "I actually had a couple of buddies, their wives worked at the factory."
Oh,
And
cool.
he's like, "Oh wow, yeah, man, I'm so excited." And I was like, "Are you going to go to the factory?" And I'm pretty sure he said he was hoping to go, but I
Yeah.
just thought that was funny. I was like, cool. I was impressed that he knew that.
Yeah. He's die hard, man. I had no idea. So
Yeah,
you know.
I've only played one Martin. My buddy had a 12 string Martin that was beautiful,
Mhm.
and I told him he moved to Nashville, and I said, if you ever get the urge to pawn any of your guitars or anything, I'll give you the amount you need, and you just pay me back that amount. I'll give you back the guitar. He goes, all
Mhm.
right, man. He comes back from Nashville. I said, where's the 12 string? He goes, I pawned it. And I was
Oh man.
for $300.
Oh no.
I'm like, dude, that guitar, it was like solid. It wasn't like a laminate. It was a beautiful guitar. And he even had like a Gibson, what are they? Firebird, Thunderbird, one of the best sounding bass I've ever heard. He got rid of that too. I'm like, what are you
Mm.
doing? I told you. And he's like, well, blah, blah. I'm like, no. It's like, I can Apple
Yeah,
Cash
no, I
you
don't know.
yeah, I can Apple Cash you from anywhere in the world. I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, man. But yeah,
He must have been in a tight spot, man.
yeah. He moved to Nashville to cook wings at Buffalo Wild Wings. I'm like, dude,
Oh no.
what are you doing?
Oh goodness.
Yeah, that was an interesting time when my
Yeah.
band was like, we're gonna move to Nashville, and they did. They had a great setup. Somebody went in out of their lease and out of an apartment so they could do it for a short time and not be committed. And that was the first time like I'd ever experienced Broadway, and I'm like, oh, okay, oh, Windows, and then you're like, well, okay, that's the same song I heard over there, and you go to another place, and oh, that's the same group of songs I heard over there,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I was like, man, this is all right. I just remember going to I was like, let's go somewhere a little bit off Broadway,
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the guy took a break, and I walked up to him. I said, "Hey, man, if you want to take a longer break, not that you sound tired or anything," I said, "I got the full band right here that can go up and cover you, and I'll buy you beer." And you talk to me about the Nashville scene. He goes, "Man, I love that, man." And as soon as he said, "Man, this is my second set," I'm like, "Your second set?" He goes, "Yeah, I just did 4 hours over here, and now I'm doing 4 hours over
Oh my
at
God.
this place." And like he was like singing, like not holding back. I was like, "Wow, you did 2 sets, 4 hours?" I said, At least you're making money." And he looked at me. He goes, "You new around here?" I'm like, he goes, "Whatever's in that bucket is how much I make." And I'm like,
No
I was
way.
like, you mean to tell me that the venue doesn't pay for 4 hours of you to be here?" And he was really good, and I'm like, that's
Wow.
nuts. He goes, "Well, you can imagine why I was so excited that you took me like got me off
Yeah.
so I could take some time off." I was
Yeah.
like, man,
Wow.
that scared me. I was like, man,
When was this?
God,
How long ago?
this was definitely before 2020.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so like probably 17.
I mean, venues didn't used to pay very much, but they're paying more. They're paying more now. I mean,
Okay.
that definitely was a thing pre-COVID, way before pre-COVID. But it has gotten better, man. It has
Yeah,
gotten better. Yeah,
I have heard that, and thank God, because
yeah, for sure.
that sucks. You could go busk out in the street.
Yeah, I mean,
Just
you couldn't even come close to making any kind of living based on what it was, and now it's like, all right, if you really work and really grind and hustle, you can be all right for for a day at a time. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, but before it was just there's no chance, man. There's no
that
chance.
that, that yeah, that was scary. I was like, it's
That
probably
is
like that.
crazy.
That's why like when you
But you got to
quit.
play. But you got to play. He
I
let you. Okay.
actually I didn't play. I didn't play that time. I was running around trying to sell. I brought merch with me,
Oh,
and people were like, "Who are you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, And you could put the stuff on the jukebox, and it would play outside too. And I was just trying to pay for a bucket of beer because it was like $70 or something outrageous. I was like,
oh shoot.
"Y'all want to buy a T-shirt?" If people were like, "Why would I buy?" It was a cool design, I thought, but yeah,
Right.
I was like, "Yeah, let them go up." I thought I was getting like, but I did. I got the inside dirt. That's kind of like how I did things. Is try to really find if you do like a venue, you want to play there. The honest answers of what you're going to get from the venue is someone that played there, and they
Yeah,
can.
that's what I tell people. I'm like, you go to that venue and talk to the dude that's playing, and talk to that guy because I mean, if I've never haven't played there, that's the best way to do it. And a lot of people have a lot more opportunity than I do to do that. But if you're just getting started, I mean, I know a lot of these guys. They're just some just are disciplined about like getting out there and meeting people and getting it done, man. I mean, it takes a lot of work,
Yeah,
a lot of time, and you got to be passionate about it. And even that stuff that's no fun. It's not really like I'm not playing, I'm not getting paid to go out the door, but I got to trust that these relationships that I'm building are gonna profit me down the road, and usually they do. I mean, you just never really know the relationship or the conversation that you're gonna have at just by stepping out the door,
yeah,
and that's the beauty of this whole thing too. And so it kind of keeps you motivated.
yeah. So, are you primarily do you write your songs yourself, or do you find like a co-write? Because the
Yeah,
songs I did here today, it was you know writer composer, just your name. I was like, that's impressive for all the
yeah,
songs I
man.
pulled up.
Yeah. Well, I've been writing by myself for as long as I can really remember. I've only co-written a couple of songs, and I think honestly, the only ones I released as a co-write were with on this last album that I did. So like I said, I did that one with Luke Wade, and then Joey Green gave me a title for a song that I ran with called "Leave It Like You Found It," and but man, something I want to do more of is co-write, but I don't have a problem writing a song by myself, and so that's been allowed me to write a lot of songs, and just kind of on a just get in the groove, man, and write a couple songs a day here and there. But I always tell people where I've been, referring to this is like I wrote most of my bad songs when I was sitting in my apartment by myself as a single man on a yellow legal pad, man. I just sat there and I wrote all day and played guitar and just didn't have any responsibilities that day. So I was like, all right, no one knows who I am. I'm in a new place. You know what I mean? Like I was just really like, I would just get lost in it. And I have loads of yellow legal pads with a bunch of just songs that no one's ever heard. You know what I mean? I didn't record music back then. I just wrote it because it just was part of my life. It's part of my existence. Like helped me like explain things in my life. I mean, that's why I write songs, because it helps it make sense of what's happening in my life.
Yeah.
And writing for yourself. People should write for themselves. I've been talking about that with a few people recently. Like, what better perspective to write from than your own? I mean, honestly, just if you can't write from your own perspective, then what's the, like? Isn't that the best place to start? You know what I mean? So anyway, yeah, no, I have been solo on a lot of my songs from here on. Not sure if I'll have some more opportunities to co-write, but definitely not afraid to do that and to get better at it.
Have you ever had anybody come up to you and be like, "Man, I like that song. Can I cut it?"
I haven't had that happen, man. I mean, I think the closest thing I've happened is, Jared Morris likes a song of mine, that "Leave It Like You Found It" song that I mentioned that Joey Green gave me a title for, and at our last show, he got up on stage with me and sang it with me, which was really a cool moment. And I told him on stage, I said, "You should cut this song." And so he didn't say anything back, but I think it was in passing. But
he's doing covers right now.
I've come, but hey, I'm not afraid to drop it in there.
Yeah, like I say, he has his last couple of releases have been covers.
Yeah, they have, man. They have, and he's great, incredible, man. So I just hopefully I'll get in the room and write with him. Get a chance to write with him coming up this year or next year. So yeah, it's been cool to get to know him, and I'll just drop it in there. Well, you never know.
Yeah, it's cool. I got to meet him when I was at Fort Worth. He came. We had like a meet and greet, and he was asking me. He was like, do you know where Miller Lite was first brewed? And I was looking. At first I wanted to say Milwaukee, and I was looking at him. He goes, "The answer's not in my teeth." And I kept thinking, I was like, "Those are really nice teeth."
Yeah.
I was just like, and here he was like, "Fort Worth," and I was like, "What?" I was like, "Do people around here know that?" Because I don't see anybody really drinking Miller Lite. I was like, because everyone's like, "Yeah, you gotta have Shiner, and Lone Star." I was like,
"Yeah, no, Miller Lite's right down the road, and they're on strike right now. So there's a bunch of people. They've been sitting outside on the street, man, for months. Like, I mean, maybe like 2 months, man. They've been out there just on strike, dude.
Really?
Day in and day out. Yes, it's crazy.
I did not know that.
It's crazy. Yeah.
I'm like, I wonder. It's funny. Like, I work for a closed shop, so like I have to be in a union. And I'm surprised no one said anything, because normally they'll be like, don't use this, don't buy this. We got to stand with them. That's the first I heard that.
Yeah, I mean, it sure looks like strike. I mean, they got picket signs and everything, so I assume they're on strike, but they're holding down the fort. Like, anytime you go by there's people there. It's I don't understand how all that works, but I guess they're determined, man, to get what they want.
Yeah, I like when they bring out the rat. that had like
They
big,
got the rat. They got the big
the big,
blow up
yeah.
rat. Yeah,
I was
I'm
like,
like, what's the rat about? You know what I mean? Maybe you can tell me what the rat is
I
about.
guess it's just like I don't know. It's like I should know it because I have a sticker. I guess
Is the rat?
managers are people that would work when they're on strike, like scabs.
Uh,
It's funny is like is my buddy was in one union. He's like, dude, I got to do the rat. He was like, I'm on rat duty. He's like, I
it's
love
like
it.
a mascot or something for the dudes. I don't
I
know.
guess it's just yeah, it's a symbol
Of a union worker, or maybe or
or
something.
just hate management. I don't know. I've never I've only gone on strike when I was like I push shopping carts from the corral to the other thing in the store. And I remember them being like, here we're going, we might be going on strike. And I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, the union. And I was like, I'm in a union? Me making minimum wage is in a union.
Yeah,
I'm like, do they know how much I get paid? I pay dues to this. But
crazy.
yeah, the job I'm in now, if we can't strike, it literally would take an act of Congress to be able to have us walk. That's why I almost missed the podcast today, because if I can't leave my desk. If I was to leave, I gotta I gotta do a podcast with Dave. I'm out of here. I could, if something happened, I could face like charges.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, but yeah, it's
Well,
the rat.
good thing you didn't have that.
Yeah,
That rat, looking over your shoulder today.
Yeah, man, I got in here like 5:45. I was like, we can do this.
You got it, dude.
And I am not a good, like, I don't, it's funny is like, I love the travel. I don't like the act of traveling. I don't, if someone stops to like take a cigarette break when I know we could be at the place 15 minutes sooner, or, like, I just,
Yeah.
I tour managed and I was, no, they're, strongest bladder determines when we stop.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't be throwing those bottles in that trash. You might need them. I'm fine when I get there, but man,
yeah.
and that's a huge part of music too, is being able to be a road dog, and it's man, trap. The only way, if I ever made it, what would really, it's funny is it's like endorsements, cool, the money, cool. My big thing would be a driver, just let him bother like, I can't believe my horns haven't fell off my car. I can't, just, but now with people texting and it's like they'd be I'm like, what shade of green are you waiting for?
Yeah.
I'm so impatient.
It's a discipline thing now, man. The driving. Yeah. You worry. You got to worry about yourself and others.
Yeah. Yeah. But oh my God. That's what, like, those tour buses are cool, but man, you got a driver? Like,
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I hear stories all the time. Like, we drove all the way through the night, and I slept in the back while he drove, and I'm like, if I'm driving, somebody better be better keep me awake. Like,
yeah.
We're gonna keep each other awake. Like, I do like to drive. I prefer driving as opposed to sitting in the shotgun. But yeah, man, I gotta. It's teamwork. If you're driving late night, man, stuff like that. It's rough.
Yeah, especially, it's funny, like, there's a lot of musicians that go live just driving to a gig on TikTok, and they're from Texas, and
Oh, really?
they'll be like, yeah, we got another 6 hours, and like there's nobody on the road, and I'm like, oh, it's just the wide open roads out there. I'm like, man, that's, I mean, that'd be cool, because I'm a big fan of, like, cruise control, set it and forget it, but that, like, up here, we can get into some country, but nothing like that where, next rest stop, 400 miles. Like, we have that, but not as much as I'm just like, man, that's I don't know if I could
Yeah,
be.
yeah. I like going those directions when I can. You know, like going opposite Dallas, or getting off of 35 and just going down a road that's not 35. I mean, it really is like a breath of fresh air, because it's yeah, it's an open road. It's not as crowded and traffic and things like that. But yeah, there's a lot of that. A lot of that here as well. And I'm definitely not jumping on a live video while I'm driving.
Yeah, but I guess on the road, do you write when you're on the road?
Yeah, yeah, right. When I'm on my car, I don't listen to music very much. When I'm driving, man, I
Yeah,
prefer silence. Uh,
I'm the same way.
yeah,
Thank you for that.
I'll go through. My head's loud, man, when I'm driving, dude. It's loud. I mean, like, I'm thinking things all the time, and like I'm going through song parts in my head, like, just yeah, dude. It's real clear. Everything's real clear when I'm driving, man. It's a good time for me to think and write and go over things in my head. I don't. Sometimes I'll record it. Occasionally. Speak it out or whatever. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's more like like a microscopic look at what's going on. Up there
yeah,
when
dude.
I'm driving.
When people get in my car and they're like, "You're not gonna put music on," they'll be like, "You're a musician. You don't." I'm like, I don't have to constantly be surrounded by noise. I'm like, I
Yeah, yeah.
like,
Like, I'd rather have a conversation. Like, than
yeah.
listen to music. I mean,
It's probably 'cause when I was younger, my mom would put on the classical radio station, and she would like make up stories while we're driving to the
hmm
sound of the music, which
oh, that's funny.
I always found that it was fun, it was interesting. But now, like you said, like I just like being with my own thoughts, because that's
Yeah,
like the only time I'm like like you said, like I mean, I do live alone, so I do have an aspect of isolation in my life. But like when you're just out on the road, just you know,
yeah.
you can get lost, and I love that.
Yeah, and you're not tempted with distractions. You're not tempted with, well, I could do this or I could do that. You're really kind of stuck. Like, you're like, I have to focus on driving, so I'm pretty much like gonna accept that and just be in the moment. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
when you're at home, it can be tough to like just really stay locked in sometimes. But yeah, in the car, it makes sense, man.
yeah. It's funny. It's like that whole meme. Oh, I'm lost. Better turn down the radio because I've done it. But yeah, I don't know. It's funny. I did listen to your music today. I was like, man, I gotta, because I wanted to do a video, and like I said, I got this, and get that white flag. And
Yeah.
you got like, I really love the keys in your songs.
Oh,
They're
nice.
like they're like kind of like at the bottom, but they're adding so much, but they're not. It's not like, I just really like when keys are done like that, and it, you have like like you have an element of like what I really love about Adam Hood's music, and like Brett Cobb, or I always forget these guys' names. Not Adam, but it's just got like that cool groove. Like it's got like a little bit of everything from like rockish to the country. But if you were just to play it, something, if you try to put like what genre you are, I was like, it's kind of like a lot of everything. And like I always say,
Yeah.
like it's got a lot of like what I like with Adam is like what I call like soul.
Yeah.
It's all like organic type thing. There's nothing, like a lot of the music today, and it's like one of the reasons why I just was not attracted to country music. It's just all like flat in your face. Like it's all
hmm
like if you were to like live life in 2D, it has that plastic sterile. Everything is like lined up like super compressed, where there's no peaks and valleys in the gain. And I like how like listening to your songs, like there is that, there's space, and it just sounds real. Like, and it sounds like I could go to a show and hear that. And I love that when
Yeah.
you hear that. Because
Yeah. Well, thank you, man. Thanks for checking out the tunes, and I appreciate those kind words. I mean, dude, I have to say Taylor Tatch is the guy who produced that album and produced these songs with me, and man, he's a wizard. I mean, he's incredible. He made it real clear to me that he's like, I'm not trying to make you sound any different. I'm trying to elevate what you already have, and which is what you love to hear from a producer, and
Yeah.
um, man, I think he did that beautifully, and I do try to be real, and I'm not a genre, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm an Americana artist, but I mean that's just because I feel like Americana is the closest thing to like saying, well, I like rock, I like soul, I like country, but like I'm just a singer-songwriter, and this is what you get. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I've been influenced by so many different things, and this is what you get when I put it all together. And I call that Americana. I mean, because it's not, and the lyrics matter for Americana music. I think Americana music is more thoughtful, more thought provoking, um, as opposed to country for the most part. So, and my platform, I use it for the best that I can when it comes to opportunities, the message behind my music and stuff. So, um, yeah, man. I mean, that you nailed it. I think you're right, man. That's exactly the
Yeah.
way.
It puts
I
you in the room. Like
Yeah,
you like surrounded by the music, and it's like a plexiglass between you and the music. I just like when there's no studio. Like studio tricks are fine. Sometimes people say like auto tunes ruining this, and sometimes you can use that to take stuff out of your voice. If you have too much grit, and sometimes you just have to put it in. And I'm not
yeah,
totally against stuff like that, but like
yeah,
overall, the listening experience, like, and what I do love about Americana, that word, because if I had I never heard that before, I might say something like along the lines. It's like I would be like, yeah, it's kind of like folkish, but that sounds like it's
Mhm.
old.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Folk,
like
it feels. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and it's not
Americana's.
folk, in my opinion.
Yeah, Americana's more tasteful to the ears just to hear because I think folk, like an older guy singing with an acoustic guitar, which is totally
Yeah,
not what it
yeah.
is. But yeah, I do
Which
like
is
that.
real simple, low effects, low this, low that. Just more songwriting focused, which is why I love folk music. And Americana folk is what a lot of times I'll just say to people because I will write more of a folky song as opposed to an Americana song. But yeah, dude, genres don't mean anything to me
Yeah,
as a songwriter. I don't think in the realm of genres when I make music, and that frees me up. You know what I
yeah,
mean? I am who I am. My experiences are my experiences, and you get what you get is what you get. You know what I mean? It's all I got. I heard Gary Clark Jr. say that the other day. He's like, "This is I I do a lot of different genres, and this is this is all I got." And so you either like it or you don't. But that's all I got. It's just you know.
yeah. There, there's a guy. I'm glad. I'm pretty sure it was Steve who introduced me to his playing, and I can't get enough of that guy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's real. He's honest. I mean, unpredictable. I mean, it's all great. I love that. I mean, I think goals as a musician for me are to say things like they've never been said before. Tell it in a way that's never been told, and get outside the box as an artist, and definitely not worry about labels, not worry about like what kind of song is this. I mean, it doesn't matter what kind of song it is. If, you just feel out what the song kind of needs, and yes, the song comes from somewhere inspirationally, but I mean that's because we're artists. I mean,
Yeah,
we're inspired. Like we inspire, but we also are inspired. So yeah,
yeah,
I keep it simple, I guess, man.
yeah. It worked. It's working
I
because I was like,
appreciate it.
because I meant the text. Yeah, I was like, have I heard Dave's music? I'm like, I was like, I don't know, and I was like, well, I got to listen to it, and I was like, oh, dig it. I just I like your voice and just how just I like I said like that whole like group of artists that and I always think it's like I was like I wish I had music like that back when like I had other people to be considerate about. You know what I mean? Because nobody wants to hear anything I used to listen to. And I used to, you know, we'd get one song in the car and I'm like, ha ha, all these songs are 12 minutes long. But like, because I could tell like my parents and people like that mellow, like they like the old stuff, but they hate the new stuff because the new stuff they hear isn't good. But, you know, people like you and Adam and all those guys are still doing like in a traditional sense with like a modern edge, and it sounds great, and it's something you can have on the radio like all day, no matter who comes to your party. You know what I mean? And people that you know love like old rock and roll, and I love playing the whole Texas, Alabama sounds and all that. And people are like, "Who are this? Who's this? I never heard this before." I'm like, "Well, you know, it's a couple years old, or you know what I mean? These are new artists." And they're like, "Really new?" I'm like, "Yeah." And it's cool how like people want this music, and that was the whole thing with the TikTok is to show people like that sounds not gone. Like all the people like Molly Hatchet and Marshall Tucker, and they're like, "Oh, you know, they're getting old." And I'm like, dude, there's people behind them. You just have to get past the top 40. But it's a shame that the Texas radio only apparently plays in Texas, because I can go down and go, that's a solid list. But if you go on like another list, you're just nope. It's like, go. You know, I guess it's the same. The cog in the wheel. We made money doing it this way. We're gonna tweak it a little bit and just I just appreciate like what you guys are doing. It's not like build a band, and it shows, and I love that. I love the sound, and you know, it's like I said, like I love story songs, and that I wish I could remember what song it was. I was like, man, I feel like I just spent a day with them. I was like, man, I can't. It's funny because
I wish I knew what song it was.
I know, like I said, I was there was no way I was getting on the highway at 5:30 to make it back to my house in 30 minutes. So I was like, I just do the old put on Waze, and I'm like, I know my house is somewhere there. It'll take me, and so I would have had to interrupt my directions to find out what song, but yeah. But
well, I appreciate it, man. Those are great names to be in conversation with, man. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, it's definitely. I always say, like, I wish I had better words to really how much. Like
sometimes you don't need words. You just keep listening, man.
Yeah, like you guys,
going.
You guys are all like new seekers, and it's just it's like when I was telling people, they're like, when people ask, they'd be like, "How much do you charge?" I'm like, "I don't charge anything." I think that always blows my mind. I'm like, man, I'm just. And they're like, well, you know, because like you got popular. How come you didn't like change your stuff up? And I'm like, why would I abandon something I found out I really enjoy, and I think a lot of other people would love it too? And I was like, if I up here in Delaware can get y'all up here, so I don't have to fly to Texas. I said it's win-win, because and it has been happening. A lot of I recently just checked on a Facebook ad. The Facebook ad just popped up, and I was like, oh, there's a venue down there, and I clicked on it. I was like, let's see who plays here. Adam Hood. I was like, no way.
Oh, sweet.
Dude. I was like, this is awesome. And I was like, and it's just more and more up here. People are starting to find out. It just the other day at work, somebody said, yeah, you ever heard of that Charles Wesley Godwin? And I was like, man, do not jump in their conversation. But I was like, like looking out of my cubicle, I was like, did you say? And one guy, he was like, yeah, I was down in Alabama, and went to a show and he says, man, he goes, it's kind of like folky. And he's like, I don't know how to explain it. And he's like, yeah, I found out he's playing down here in it's a place down in Delaware. And
Wow.
I'm like, dude, this is cool. Because
Yeah.
he's another guy like that has like I was gonna compare your sound to just
Cool. Yeah.
that I really just it just has that it's authentic. It's not like you went in to like write a banger. It's like now like you're having a conversation with the artist just by listening, and it's just something that I can't explain that you can just listen to, and I've always loved that about it. It's like I've been with Tanner Usry. Do you know his song Josephine? That was his encore. Like people were cheering for that song, and that song was like one of the first times a song like tore my heart out. I was like, and people were like, yeah. I was like, oh, how? No, why? How did this become? Because I imagine, because the one time I happened to tell him, I was like, yeah, you're the first person to make me cry on TikTok. And Tanner was like, yeah, you're right. And I'm thinking, I walked away and I'm like, man, did I just come off like a jackass? I was like, that song was obviously, something that somebody he loved. And I'm like, oh my God, and here I am just like shrugging my shoulders, laughing. I felt terrible to the point where like the next time I see him, I'm going to be like, hey man, I got to let you know that I did, but to see that as an encore, and it's just,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, anytime a grown man tells me that made him cry, that's a huge compliment. So
yeah,
I'm sure he meant he took it the same way. I mean, that's pretty cool. You know what I mean? Just to get that deep, that's a cool thing, man.
yeah. Have you ever obviously had a connection with the crowd and like look out and seen that? Like,
No, some guys after a show have said that to me. Just grown men. They're like, yo, man, that song made me cry. I was like, wow, okay, well, thanks for letting me know, and that means a lot. And you know, uh, probably don't listen to it a whole bunch.
yeah,
Every once in a while, maybe pace yourself. But
it
I
makes
don't
sense.
know. Yeah, I mean, dude, that's real. That's real, and that's what you want out of a song.
Yeah, that's got to be. Like I don't know. Somebody came up and said, "Hey, listen to your song," and man, it made me bawl my eyes out. I don't think I know what to say either.
Yeah, man. I mean, sometimes you just have to say thank you. I mean,
Yeah,
and not have to worry about the rest. I mean, the song did the job. The song did the work. And sometimes you don't have to say too much.
yeah. Oh man, I wish real life conversations had emojis because I always feel like I'll always say something and it just comes off and be like, and I'm like. I just say something in a way like I never know how to like really get through. Like, no, man, you don't understand, and then I'll say, and then it just I don't want to be like too like, dude, I love it, and then I always like leave like a little sting at the end, and I'm like, it's not what I meant. And then
He's like, I get it, man. Thank you,
security.
you. we got a problem over here.
Yeah, we got stage 5 clinger. Stage 5.
No, man. Hey, less is more. Less is more usually.
Yeah,
That's what I'm learning.
yeah, it's because you definitely don't want to be that guy, and it's funny. It's like I'm always like calm, collected, especially if I see somebody like I'm like, man, I would really, really love to go talk to him, but like it's like after like at Key West, I'm a fangirl after like 8 beers. then it's like let's take selfies.
Oh wow.
Let me tell you. And I'll like wake up the next day and like, oh man,
You're like, what did I do?
I really go there. How many times did I tell that grown man I love him? And I never try to be like that. It's cool, calm, collective, professional. it just all goes to hell.
I'd say if you can blame that on Key West, from what I hear.
Yeah, yeah, that was a fun time. That was like the first time I'd ever really gone anywhere and had access. Like people leave comments like, "Hey, thanks, man," but to actually like meet them and like this, like being recognized, like I didn't really expect that. And it's funny,
Mm.
people are like, "Why would you not expect that?" I'm like, "Cause it's TikTok, you know." Like I was like, I don't know. Like I walk around here all the time and nobody knows anything. But going down the Key West, like people are like, "Hey, thanks for this, that, and this," and it's like if like you're on an album cover, so I would know. Obviously, now we're doing this. I would know what you look like, but people coming up to me
Yeah,
that aren't on the album cover,
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah. Well, I
who?
recognize it. I was like, dude, you're that guy because I've seen your stuff and I know who you are. And I mean, your face is you're there and you're doing your thing. I'm like, I know that face. And
That's funny.
so yeah, man. I mean, social media makes us a lot more aware than we realize sometimes.
Yeah, it's also man when and now like with places they want to know your numbers. It's also there's a devil's hand to it too. Like I feel bad.
Yeah,
Like I don't know if like you want to focus on writing good songs, not like
yeah,
doing the TikToks and everything. And
yeah.
it's
And
also
and honestly, dude, I don't have a TikTok, and I know I'm missing out. I mean, obviously, I'm missing out. I mean, I'm missing out on something. What that is isn't like totally, you know, clear, but it's just a choice I've made at this point in my career. I just haven't really ever gone down that road, and I've been doing this way before TikTok, so
yeah.
it's not something I ever had access to. So I just never got on that bandwagon, and I mean, I know it hinders me a little bit, but at this point, I'm not there. I'm not there right now.
Yeah, it,
It doesn't make sense for me right now.
it's got to be great to be unplugged and not have to
Well,
just journalize everything.
yeah, I mean, well, even Instagram and Facebook, I mean, makes me feel like I'm always plugged. Just those two alone. You know what I'm saying? So it's more like just I'm already like at my tipping point with those two things, and I added a whole nother thing, man. That's just it doesn't make sense right now.
Yeah, it's time consuming, especially when like you love and appreciate your fans, and if I'm the if I can't answer them all, I feel some type of way, and it's like it can eat at you. You know what I mean? Because like
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah,
it's
I mean, I don't have that problem, but yeah, I would think that I would want to try to like acknowledge people if they, have something to say, just and hopefully I can take the time to do that, moving forward, But yeah, two is good for me.
yeah, it's yeah. I hardly ever go on Instagram.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah. Well, I
I couldn't
mean,
imagine.
you choose one or the other. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah,
I guess I could get off Instagram and do TikTok and have two, that way. But I just, man, I don't know, man. I'm looking beyond those things. I think at this point, and trusting that, it's the right move. Well, who knows?
yeah. Hey, there's nothing wrong with it. Just being about the music, because that's
Yeah, for sure. It's
especially when you're writing songs by yourself.
yeah,
You need that
yeah.
focus.
And I don't like recording and doing little videos about myself on video. I mean, that's not like my favorite thing to do. I don't have a ton of that. I mean, I try to. I don't know. I mean, I'm like the not a poster child for social media, but like I said, dude. I mean, I do it. I try to do okay at it. I mean, I do what I feel I need to do, and then that's it. I mean, I can't let my life revolve around trying to be a social be be okay with the way I am on social media. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it just can't consume that much of me because that's not good. That's not good for me.
yeah,
It's not balancing out. That's not balancing things out. Like you said, like if it's just always something in my brain, man, then that doesn't make sense.
yeah.
So
It's training. Believe me, I've
Yeah, yeah.
been there, and people are like, "What do you mean? Like TikTok affects your mental
What do you
health?"
mean?
I'm like, yeah. I'm like, huh?
Is yeah. It's like you have to check out. That's what I mean. Like you have to check out. Like
Yeah,
you got to have a perspective other than the social media perspective. Like it's dangerous. It's like it's toxic. You know what I mean? Like, and that's our kids. That's our kids. That's all the kids are doing, man. And so it's
yeah.
scary to think 10 years down the road, like how this looks, man. You know, but
It's there reminds me of a cable guy, like TV mother, because it's
yeah,
you know what I mean. Like
yeah,
my buddy just had a baby, and he's like, man, my son wouldn't stop crying. What made him stop crying is I put an iPad in front of him. He was like, "Oh man, thank God." And he said his girlfriend, she's from Lithuania, said she's absolutely not. Pretty much saying like, "I don't want my kids to end up like Americans." I was like, she has a point. He goes, "Man,
hey, you
but that."
know, I mean, when they're young and they just won't stop crying, you put that praise baby on or something, put them in a little swing and just like let them go, man. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, you got to just pick your battles when you're a parent, man. You got to figure it out, you know. But
Yeah,
technology is definitely right there.
yeah. It's I think we grew up in a good time.
I
Outside's
did
fun.
too, you know.
I love
Oh
being
yeah, dude.
outside.
I knew what it felt like to come home after dark on accident, you know, like and get have a wreck on my bike and go to the creek and you know just like I just yeah. I mean, it was a different time and there was different imaginations. Just they were able to like be created because of you being in a moment, you know,
Yeah.
not transformed by something that's taking you there. You know what I mean? Like I feel like imagination is hindered because of social media and stuff like that, right?
Oh,
Because
absolutely.
you just go outside and figure it out. You know, you just go outside and just see what's going on. You know, like
Yeah. I
I
I
don't know,
know
man.
if I was born around this time, I know, man, my dad would, because I would be smashing my phone because he could track me. I couldn't imagine.
Right, right.
Like, here's a phone. I remember being so mad. He was like, "Here's the phone." I'm like, "I don't want it." He goes, "Well, you're gonna take it, and when I call, you're gonna answer." And I'm
Oh, it's
like,
funny.
I'd be
Yeah.
like,
No.
"Well,
Yeah. No, I
battery's
grew up.
dead."
Yeah. No, I grew up in a time. Yeah, man. No, that if you get home late and the parents are up, you're screwed, man. Like,
Yeah.
but if they're sleeping, you know, you're all right. But man, if, you know, like, yeah, it's just a whole. It was a whole different perspective that some people just no one's not. Some people just never gonna understand that. You know, like how it was and you know, it's just
Yeah.
it's two different worlds, man.
Yeah. My dad said, he said the worst thing he ever bought me was a Nintendo. Because I remember being excited about it, and I remember being like, "Well, I'm never gonna see that again."
I'm thankful I wasn't any good at games, so I didn't really care if I didn't really stay behind games too often. I was like, this sucks, man. I always lose, you know. So I was like, I'm gonna go do something else. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like I said, I just think that quality time and that present time that you spend with children is just even more important because they need a different perspective, and if they don't have a chance to have it, then they're probably not going to get it on their own.
Yeah.
If they don't have influences, you know, that are going to take them there. So, you know, like mentors or just people they look up to, you know, like even besides their parents, uncles or grandfather. I mean, just something, man. And it just comes from just being like away from a screen because you're having a conversation, a relationship with somebody else that you look up to and you see things in them and you're like, oh man, this guy's so cool. I want to be like him, you know, because he's not doing the things that other people are doing. You know what I mean? Like, and so I don't want my kids to be like, well, dad's always on his phone. Well, I mean, I do work on my phone. I mean, I
Yeah.
make, you know, my living on, you know, connecting with people and talking with people on my phone. But I don't want my kids to be like, he's always on his phone. It sucks. You know, he's never paying attention to me, you know, so just kind of things like that motivate me to, you know, balance
Yes.
well, man.
Yeah. That's
Responsibility.
and I'm sure they may not know it now, but they'll definitely appreciate it when they'll see somebody else that didn't have that.
Yeah,
And
I mean, I hope so. I mean, my 11-year-old daughter has, friends that, maybe they already have phones. They already got stick their faces in the phone when they're around my daughter. Like, I'm just like, oh boy, And so, yeah, man. I mean, that's what we signed up for, dude.
yeah,
One day at a time. That's all I can do. One day at a time. Let's go.
yeah, yeah. It's as simple and as hard as that.
Yeah, I know, but it seems to be the only way to really it's like eating an elephant one bite at a time. Man, that's the only way you can do that, right? So
That's what I'm thinking. Like, I just thought, like, I wonder what an elephant would taste like. Got that tough skin.
probably a little tough,
Yeah.
Probably want to eat that stuff rare, like real medium rare.
Like,
Oh my gosh.
where's the tender cut on Dumbo over there?
I mean, I'm just curious if anyone ever even eaten an elephant. Like, I've never even heard of that. Maybe it's illegal, maybe it's inhumane. I don't even know, but it does spark the curiosity to be like, what in the world would that taste like?
Somebody's done with all the other animals.
I mean, yeah, like give me some elephant jerky. Let's start there.
I'm sure the dogs would like their ears.
Oh yeah, that'll keep them busy.
Talking about
chasing squirrels and being annoying.
Yeah. My dog's like, I always like, why? I'm like, I was like, why do you hate squirrels? You're an overweight squirrel yourself. I was just like,
that's hilarious.
I was like, there's not a lot separating you from those guys, other than they're more responsible with their food.
They're faster than you are.
Yeah, they're faster.
They're fast. I can't catch them, but
yeah. I said when they get hungry a little later, they have a little stash. I'm like, yeah, he'll eat everything way too much. I'm like, dude, like you can eat later.
Dang, man. But you're a giant squirrel. That's now all I can see now is like you as a squirrel. So
yeah,
thank you for that.
He's a little bigger on the Dash and Wiener dog. So I'm like, it's funny. It's I was telling him I feel like little dogs they're more connected to like the instincts of like the older dogs. My sisters they have dogs and every once in a while they do what they're bred for, but they're goofy. But my dog, if he can smell like a fox that ran through the yard 3 weeks ago, and he's got to like solve the crime. And I'm just, like,
their scent is insane, man. I mean, he will get on something. He knows every cat, every rabbit that's gone through that yard in 24 hours, and it's crazy to think that what they can like, sense with their noses, man, and how sensitive they are. It's wild.
Yeah, and it also it's like I can imagine if like we had the amount of like concentration.
It'd be so stressful. It would be so stressful. I mean, it seems like like sorry being stressed out by things that you're never gonna be a part of, but I mean, at least you can smell them. I mean, that's about all you're gonna get.
Yeah.
So it's just, why don't you just relax? Like, just accept that. Like, you're not gonna get a squirrel or a rabbit. So just, but it never fails, man. They're like, oh, well, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wish they could talk. My life, my life would be so much more easier.
Oh man, funny.
Yeah. But I saw you got a bunch of gigs coming up.
Yeah. We're loaded up this summer with a few traveling gigs. Gonna go to Lubbock and play the Blue Light. I'm gonna be opening for Tim Lightyear. That's gonna be a fun time in July, and then gonna be playing at the Do-Si-Do Barbecue and Breakfast Bar in Woodlands, which I've never played there before. My sister lives out there in Houston, so it'll be fun to go visit her. and then yeah, so making a few runs, out that way. Got a few little house shows coming up, some, and then in September we open up for Uncle Lucius in Arlington.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I'm stoked. That's gonna be fun.
Uh, that song "Keep the Wolves Away." I was
Yeah,
that's an
incredible.
incredible song. Yeah,
Yeah, for
his
sure.
his vibrato, his voice.
Yeah, and
It's
the whistling, man. I mean, this is
yeah,
like unheard of whistling skills. Like it's so rich. You know, the whole
yeah,
song is it's just a really simple song though. That's the thing. Like it's just the simplicity of it is the beautiful part. That I love. And but yeah, I'm looking forward to kind of to getting in with those dudes, man. I mean, I heard one guy at the Jared Moore show was like, Uncle Lucius is one of the best shows I've ever seen, and I was like, dope, okay, cool. I mean, I've never seen him, and I know that he used to be around here a lot back in the day, doing some stuff. But yeah, no, that fired me up, man. I was excited. We're gonna have the band out there. It'll be fun.
yeah. Just ask him to join your Fridays.
Yeah, come on, man. Let's go. You can
You,
load us up with all this good information. Yeah, I need to. I will. I will. I will definitely do that. I
yeah.
don't know where is he. He's local? Is he not? He's not local. He must be like Houston or
Oh,
Alabama or something.
I have no idea.
But yeah, and then I'm supposed to get back in the studio to record a single with we got a Fort Worth studio here, Grant Wilburn at 7031 Studios. Um, so that's going to be really great. I'm excited to get that going, and got a few other things that I'm gonna try to get out before then, maybe. But yeah, man, it's lined up. Things are going good, man.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to hear. Now, do you have like a dream venue? If you could play anywhere?
I mean, Red Rocks would be my dream venue. That I'm determined to get at. So, you know,
Yeah, it's that. Seeing like people's videos, you're just like, man, that's awesome. But to see like when an artist or someone takes a picture of the artist like on the stage, and that
hmm
is just that
yeah,
has to be what's after that?
right.
That's one hell of a dragon to chase.
Yeah, I mean, just to hear the music coming off the rocks like that. I mean, that's just the most incredible venue I can ever think of. You know what I mean? I mean, just it's like a Mother Nature's venue. That she built herself, and my brother lives 15 minutes from there, man. So
Oh wow.
I'm I've got a bed when I go. I got a family. I got a little bit of a following out there. So I'm trying to play Denver. I'm trying to get out to Denver, like Globe Hall or something like that. One of those spots. I mean, I just need to kind of find an opportunity to like somebody that can kind of connect me with it, man. It's on my bucket list to play out there at Denver when go see my brother, but yeah, it's tough, man. It's hard. It's a hard thing to just get up and do on a whim. So,
Yeah.
man, other than that, shoot, man. I mean, I don't. That's it. I mean, that's all I can think of. I mean, I want to play the Kessler again. The Kessler Theater is an incredible venue here in Dallas Fort Worth, in Oak Cliff that I got to play last year. That just was just so spectacular. So I'm looking forward to getting back there. And then Saxon Pub, I know it's low key, but man, that's a special spot. I played there last year as well, so hoping to get back out there again. And man, you know, thankful for every show I get, man.
Yeah. That's cool though. It's you ain't lying about Red Rocks. I, I had never seen it before. I'm pretty sure it's been in movies, but I didn't really realize like just how
Yeah,
like awesome it
yeah,
is, and it's
yeah.
cool.
The best part about being able to play there before I actually go to a show there would be having to not have to walk like a mile to get there, you know, and like being dropped off at like the front door, like
Yeah.
that would be pretty cool. But I've heard stories about it, like it's pretty crazy, like just to get there and like get going and hiking up that way and everything. So it's an ordeal, man, for sure. But everybody's just said nothing but cool things about that place. So look
Yeah.
forward to it.
Yeah. One day.
One day, baby.
Yeah. One day at a time.
One day at a time. One bite at a time, baby.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd be like, I talked to that guy on my podcast.
I know that guy. Let me in. Let me in. I'm knocking at the door. Let me in.
Yeah, more like you open your road case. How did you get in here, Patrick?
I'm with the band. You're like, I've never seen that guitar before in my life. I don't know who it is.
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about, or I don't know if you have to get off or anything.
Man. Yeah, we'll get off here in a few, man. Got get things rolling here, but no, I mean, not really, man. I mean, that's it covers it, man. I think we covered most of the things. I mean, it's full time music world for me, and I'm loving it, man. It's just a dream come true, and excited for what's ahead and what's happening down here, man. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for having me, man.
Yeah, no problem. But yeah, I wanted to ask, like, does your wife run anything with the business, or is it just straight?
She's just the biggest supporter, man, and which really was a huge part of this happening. You know, her saying that, you know, I see what you can do. You know, I trust what you've been doing, and I see that you have potential to do this, do that, and so she just kind of gave me full access to get after it, and on the weekends, you know, and just really build up those times and shift our world a little bit. Like, you know, Daddy's going to be working on the weekends. Like, he's not going to be home on the weekends, but during the day, I can, you know, I'm home, I'm writing songs, I'm taking care of the house. Well, I try to take care of the house. And then, you know, just I'm available if the girls need something at school, or, you know, just it's really been nice, man. It's been a good shift, and you know, I'm kind of a structure guy. Like, I need structure in my life because I'm ADD and whatnot, and I'm an artist, so I need structure. And so I'm slowly developing that into a little bit more dynamic. But, you know, like Mondays, Tuesdays, try to write some songs, and then Wednesday, you know, I have church. I work at a church that I do music at as well, and so I do some of that stuff, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, obviously, are gigs, you know, any chance I can get. So, yeah, it's been cool, man. It's worked out. It's worked out. I'm able to cook dinner. You know what I mean? I'm able to cook dinner before I leave the house, and just be there at 4:00 when the girls get home with my wife, because they go to the same school as my wife. She's a teacher. So it's been pretty smooth, man. My wife she's the best, man. I mean, she's, like I said, she's my biggest supporter and biggest fan, and, you know, I don't do this without her.
Yeah, that's awesome. Because a lot of people, they don't realize, like, that's possible. You know, like, you can have that.
It's possible, man. It took me a long time to get here, and it was a very patient, you know, road for me to be on. But I just, you know, I did the most I could with what I had time for up until this point. You know what I mean? Like, music has always been a very passionate thing for me, no matter what. But I knew I didn't have the time to devote towards it, to that I wanted to. You know, I mean, and obviously, you know, to provide by playing music was the goal, to get to that point. And but it was just more like, I can't have my cake and eat it too. You know what I mean? I can't. But, you know, I think I wrote this in an article recently, saying, like, I understood the runway was closed, but the terminal wasn't. You know what I mean? Like, the runway was closed, but the terminal was open. So I've been writing songs. I've been performing when I get a chance. I've been crafting what I want to do. Once I get that runway open, and I can go down it, and that's where I'm at. You know. And so, man, you know, but it's because she told me now's the time, and here we are.
Yeah, that I love hearing that, because I know when I was doing it, I didn't think that could ever be possible. You know, because well, what do you mean? Like you don't spend any weekends with us and whatnot? And it's just like, but I do like hearing that
Yeah,
people
it's
do
just
get
more
the
like just understand what you do have, what you can do with the time that you have. I mean, I tell people all the time, like, yeah, you're not a full time musician, but you can always be writing songs, man.
yeah
You can always be writing songs. I mean, you can record it on your phone. You can do a demo. Like, that's the cool thing about music. Like, you have a full time job. Cool. Sometimes that's the greatest thing you could possibly have as an artist. Are you playing every weekend? No, but like that doesn't, that can be a grind. That can be a hard thing. Like I mean, it looks like it might be one thing, and then you actually start doing it, and you realize, man, this is not all it's cracked up to be. But I mean, and you get to that point, but some people are ready for it, some people aren't. And it's just I'm just ready to put in that grind and put in that time because I've been waiting for a long time to do it, and but at the same time, like I said, man, I've utilized the time I've had by just writing songs and getting better at what I try to do,
yeah
and learning who I am as an original artist. I mean, that's the key. Like, who is David Tribble? What does he sound like? What is he supposed to be doing? Like, what clicks? You know what I mean? What clicks? What doesn't click? Like, and so that takes time. That took time for me, man. I mean, I'm on a slow train.
yeah yeah. It was slow and steady,
Yeah,
but
slow and steady, dude. It's for real.
it's definitely interesting, especially like hanging around singers and talking to singers of like the story of like how you find your own voice. It's and a lot of people are like, well, if you never sang, never wrote songs, like you wouldn't understand. And it's just like, especially like when you first start singing, because you do take nuances and bits and from your favorite singers and whatnot, and just to find like the way you do it is cool.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. Thanks. I mean, yeah. I just and that I don't. Some people I think find that quicker than others, and it does based on influences and things like that. I mean, I wasn't influenced by a lot of music when I was a kid, when I was younger. I mean, I didn't listen to a lot of music. I have some influences, but as far as songwriting goes, I mean, I didn't connect with songwriting until I was in my 20s. I mean, instead I started listening to Citizen Cope and David Ramirez. I didn't care about writing the song. I didn't really understand what songwriting was until I heard those guys do it. And then I was like, oh crap. Like I want to do this for real, Like this is the coolest thing I've ever done in my entire life. Like that I feel more alive than I've ever felt, you know what I mean? Like this is a gift, and I'm I'm pursuing it hard, And so anyway, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's
Yeah.
it's nice to know you're doing what, like one day you're not going to be on a porch going, I wish I would have tried that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's true. It's not in me, man. I'm not. I'm too stubborn for that.
Yeah,
I really am.
that's cool though.
Yeah, it's good and it's bad, But
Yeah,
uh, for that, it's good. Yeah,
yeah, and it's good for your soul too, especially when that's all you want to do, and
yeah.
and you left your job on your terms. You didn't. Some
I
people just get
did.
so frustrated, and
Yeah, it was time. It was time, and we were all on board. And I think that's another thing. I think I keep going back to it, but it's just as if you have a full plate like I have with family, with kids, with which like you said, it can happen with those kind of things happen, but it's just like it does have to make sense, and it does have to be worth it as a whole. I think that's how I sum things up. I'm like, if it makes sense and if it's worth it, then you should pursue it. You should think about doing it. But until those two things line up, man, it just may be a bigger struggle than you want to do than you want to have.
yeah,
So I
I
don't
hear
know.
you. But all right, man, I'll let you get back to your family.
Okay, man. Yeah, I think my
And
dog's about to drive us crazy again too. So,
dude, thank
jeez.
you for getting on here. I
Yeah, no
love
problem,
talking to you,
bro.
man.
Great talking to you, man. I had a blast.